In this video, we will teach you the math behind spacing your chain link fence posts. We will also show you how to install them. If you are interested in learning how to install a chain link fence start to finish, see the full tutorial attached. But for now, let's get into installing chain link fence line posts. Here I have the line post. We're going to use a slightly skinnier line post than we are using for the terminal posts. In this case, because this is only a 4-foot high fence, we are using a 1 5/8 inch line post. Now remember, the diameter and size of the post you are using is once again going to depend on the height of the fence and also the customer's desired specs. These are definitely things you should discuss with the customer prior to the installation. Now to set your line posts, there's a little bit of uncomplicated math involved. We are simply going to measure the distance between our two terminal posts. In this case, we know it's 50 feet, and then we want to ensure that we have even spaces between each line post, but that each space is not more than 10 feet. So now let's do the math. Between my two terminal posts, I have 50 feet, which means I'm going to have 4 line posts. Each line post is going to measure 1 5/8 inches in diameter. So I'm going to take 1 5/8 inches, multiply it by 4, and that gives me 6.5 inches. Now it's a lot easier to operate in inches when you're doing this math. So I am going to take my total distance, which is 50 feet times 12, that's 600 inches, minus 6.5 inches, that gives me 593.5 inches. Then I'm going to take that number and divide it by 5. 5 is the amount of sections, the amount of bays that I'm going to have in this fence. So 593.5 divided by 5 comes out to 118.7 inches. Now, why not just make it an even 10 feet, an even 120 inches exactly between posts? On a line of fence like this is a pretty small line of fence, you'll never notice, not a big deal. However, if you were doing a much longer line of fence, that 1 5/8 inch line post would add up over time, and by the end of the fence, you would have a really small section of fence compared to all the other ones. So it's better you just get good at this, take the time and do the math, so that way when you do step it up and get to a bigger install, you do it right. So now we just measured the line and marked each of our line posts equidistant apart. Now we're going to begin actually installing the line post. The process for installing the line post is exactly the same as installing the end post. We're simply going to dig a hole approximately 2 feet deep, then surround it with dirt, tamp that dirt nice and compact while holding the post plumb. Then we're going to add concrete and then another thin layer of dirt on top. It's important when you're installing the line post that you get it just snug against the string line. That way they're all on the same line. Now the only difference when you're installing a line post versus an end post or a terminal post is that you want the line post to sit slightly lower than the top of the fence, because you want the wire to sit slightly above the top rail. So if our wire is 48 inches high, we want the line post to sit a few inches below that. And as you'll see, we set a string line along the top as well. This is optional, but it'll just ensure that the posts along the line of fence are set at the same height going across the whole thing. Now you'll see all the posts for this line of fence are set. We have our 2 terminals on the end and our 4 line posts in between. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. We'll see you in the next one.